Hi, this is Stephanie.
And Chris.
And we have Figaro here too. We're from the Musical Athlete, and today we're showing some skin, because, especially Figaro, right? Because we have a very special episode that's all about abs, especially for singers.
Right, so the question is like, what type of core training should you do, and what type will actually take away from your results? It's a hot topic for singers, something that we deal with a lot. In our episode, we're going to talk about your individual body type and how the shape of your rib cage, as well as the way that you breathe, is going to influence how we train your core and why we do it. So I'm going to show you some go-to moves for your body type in this episode, so join us and check it out. All right, welcome back to our All About Abs for Singers episode. I am Coach Chris, and this is my lovely assistant Figaro, here to talk about abs specifically for singers. All right, and this is a question that I get a lot from our singers. We do a lot with this because obviously the way that we train our core is going to really influence the rib cage, the diaphragm, the pelvic floor for better or worse. Okay, and so when we talk about abs for singers, what we want to talk about is the shape of the rib cage. Okay, and you can see that as we inhale, the rib cage is going to sort of flare open and sort of externally rotate and raise. As we exhale, it's going to drop down. Okay, and you can see the Figaro kind of has this open shape here that is sort of inhaled. Okay, so it's wider as a result. Based upon the shape of your rib cage, you're going to be biased into more of a sort of opened or closed shape. And so you can see that, you know, we kind of have this coffee cup here, which is a wider rib cage, all right? This rib cage is more biased to bring air in. So we want to use our external obliques, okay, which are kind of more on the outside, to kind of close it with a harder exhale. Okay, whereas those that are kind of taller have a bit more of a narrow shape, like this water bottle, you can see that I can kind of fit it inside the coffee cup here, are going to need a wider exhale to work on the internal obliques. Typically our lower abs for our more sort of a narrow rib cage singer are going to be weaker. So we want to work a little bit more on those. And that's going to be a much lighter exhale, a breathier exhale, as if I'm just breathing with an open mouth. And so what we're going to do in today's episode is I'm going to give you a couple different exercises for your rib cage type specifically, so stay tuned. When we talk about abdominal training for our narrow rib cage singer, we want to think about kind of the natural shape of our singer, meaning typically our singer's compensation is going to be the fact that they're going to drop their chest down and overuse their rectus abdominis muscle to kind of pull their chest wall down. Okay, and this is a problem because when we overuse our rectus, which is our six-pack muscle, it's the thing that we work when we do crunches and leg lifts and all of these things that are hard, is that this muscle gets so tense and tight that it's going to keep the sternum down. So any subsequent inhale, okay, we're not going to be able to open our chest up as well. So the key thing to think about with all of these exercises is to keep your eyes on the horizon and also to keep your sternum on the horizon. So as Steph does this exercise, what I don't want to see her do is crunch and pull down. Okay, I want our sternum to just stay just like this. And if I do see that, I'm going to stop her because, you know, you will feel abs, but it's not, those are not the abs that we want. We want to focus sort of on lower abs here when we're talking about the internal oblique specifically. So in order to do that, for this first exercise, I'm going to have Steph squeeze a block between her knees. All right, we're going to bring her knees to her chest here. We're going to reach for the ceiling with her arms, okay? And what she's going to do, we're going to use a light exhale through an open mouth. She's going to take a deep breath in. On the exhale, she's going to reach for the ceiling. Exhale, squeeze the block between your knees. Let's do this one more time. Let's go deep breath in. On the exhale, reach for the ceiling, squeeze this block. And if we want to make this a little bit harder on the inhale, again, light inhale, and then long exhale, we can bring the feet out a little bit as well while squeezing the block. All right, so for our second exercise, we're going to bring Steph up into a tall kneeling position, okay? This is a little bit more lifelike. It's going to be a little bit harder to feel, but this is more of a transfer into what you're actually going to experience when you're on stage and when you're performing, okay? And so the key here as well, an added bonus, is that with a narrow rib cage singer, you know, we're going to have a chest wall that's collapsed down and a rectus that's overactive, okay? And so in this exercise, we get a lot of good stretch in the chest as well as tension through the hands as we perform this one. So I want to make clear that we've got to use a lot of tension through our hands as we inhale in order to create the right effect when we exhale. Steph and I were kind of playing around with that earlier, okay? So we're going to get Steph's hands open towards the horizon here. I want you to make fists with your hands, okay? I want you to take a deep breath in with your arms, hands out here like this. So squeeze your hands, create some tension, then exhale, and just think about kind of crushing a bug while squeezing the block between your knees. There you go. Breathe in, again, keep that tension in your hands, and then exhale, give me even more tension. Squeeze the block between your knees, help to close that rib cage. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, get a little bit of stretch in that chest wall, and then let's exhale. Let's bring everything in. Very good. All right, so for a wide rib cage singer, we want to use the more forceful external obliques to help to close the rib cage. Those are going to require a harder exhale, so as if I'm blowing through pursed lips, I'm blowing out a candle with 100, or a birthday cake with 100 candles, so. And for this, the side plank is perfect because we can compress a lot, we can compress very much one side to open up the other side. The more compression we can get here, the more kind of closing of the right side we can get, the more opening of the left side we can get. And that's exactly what a wider singer, or a wider rib cage singer is going to need. So Steph's gonna cue me through this exercise, and here we go.
Okay, so we're gonna raise up onto this forearm here, into our side plank. You really want to feel maximum contraction here, so we're going to raise this arm overhead and really feel the expansion on this side. Keep in mind to have this hip right here being closer to this shoulder, and this shoulder going down to the hip. So we're going to have maximum compression on the side. Breathe in here, exhale, blowing a candle, breathe in. Exhale out, blowing out many candles.